warm and a very detailed welcome, and welcome everyone also, and congratulations for being here in this very special space. It is a great opportunity to dive into these interesting topics, to build a learning community within this space, exchange ideas, and take this new wave of technology that is so fast. It seems to be very fast, but there's a space for everyone in artificial intelligence, in data science, and machine learning, and all of these technologies. It takes some effort to start learning them and then use them in the space where you are working in the classroom, and also to generate solutions for the problems that you are facing. The topic that I am going to talk about today is a topic that challenges me a lot. I am learning this technology profoundly and already generating really interesting results with the use of something that you may be familiar with, chatbots, chatbot technology. We know them from experiences calling to call centers and listening to different voices, and these voices lead us through different doors and through different spaces, but there are new kinds and new ways of using chatbot technologies, and I am going to present to you some interesting ideas to start understanding this new technology a bit more profoundly. So, Alex, may I share my screen?
Sure, you have the permissions.
Thank you so much. Please let me see your thumbs up if the screen is already shown. Thank you. This is, as I mentioned, this is a topic that I enjoyed a lot, and I enjoyed so much building the presentation about, and I hope that it is going to be as exciting as for you as it was for me. The objectives that we have today are three: mainly clarifying some misunderstandings or critical terminology in regards to AI and chatbot technology. Also generate discussions and conversations in regards to this topic, but also exchange ideas, because we are all already using these technologies. We have the opportunity to test them. So I do not expect to be the one generating the content, but also learning a lot from you. And we have an agenda. There are several things that I am going to talk about today. Firstly, understanding what is a chatbot, then categorizing them in two kinds of chatbots, the ones that I was mentioning before, mentioning some challenges that we have ahead as teachers, as educators, where chatbot technology might present an interesting opportunity, then also revealing some shortcomings that chatbot technology has globally, not only in the educational realm, but also in other areas. And finally, discuss with you some ideas in relation to the role we have as teachers and educators in this new technology. A bit about me. I was a teacher, part of the Teach for All network. This very interesting, very powerful network that is covering several countries, one of which is Mexico, where Eric is the founder of the Teach for All branch in Mexico. I had the opportunity to work with students from all ages, from young people to adults in several countries, in Europe and Africa, as well as in Latin America, where I come from. And one of the things that I faced during the pandemic especially was digitalizing and adapting so quickly the learning programs we were implementing on the ground. And one of the ideas that we came up with was using WhatsApp, especially because it has a very profound penetration in countries of the global south, Latin America, Africa, and Asia. Maybe in the US, not so much yet. And the potential of building chatbots was not so promising at the time in 2020, but with the development of new technologies, it is very interesting now. And I'm going to show you how to do a presentation for you on how it is working and how I work with those technologies. I would like to start by offering you a space to discuss some interesting questions in regards to who you are, where we are, and why we are here. I would like you to scan these QR codes, and I am going to provide you with a space to write the name of your state in the US or your country. Let me activate the activity that we are going to do, and let me ensure that I can show it to you. Perfect. So as soon as folks start to contribute to our poll, we are going to see and to expand the places we are connecting from. There's a couple of people from Boston, Massachusetts, Texas, Saltillo in the US. Thank you for contributing to this activity. Thank you. I see that there are people from the US and from Mexico too. Thanks so much. A couple of seconds more, and then I am going to ask you another question. Okay. Yeah. So now there's another question in this poll tool, and the question is more a prompt, right? Okay. There's this prompt that I would like you to review, and then I would like you to signal the emotion that comes to you when you listen to the prompt, using chatbots to teach in my classroom. Oh, I am going to show, yeah, the QR code is shown in the corner. Yeah. So there are people already populating our emotions chart. They are surprised. I don't know if it is fear. People are reflecting about it, maybe feeling a little bit skeptical or in pain in regards to this. Yeah, also, especially skepticism is something that I see, and it is very, and it is not strange at all. This is taken by storm, the classrooms, and we are experiencing a lot of interesting debates in relation to this. Thank you for your contributions. We are going to use this tool for a couple of more questions ahead. So please bear with me. It is something that can allow us to build some new ideas and conversations. So what is a chatbot? A chatbot is basically a computer program. It is a set of rules and set of programming that mimic how humans interact, and that is able to respond to the ideas and the questions and the requests of humans. Sometimes there's this verb understand, using how chatbots behave with humans, but this is something that is criticized as well, because they are not actually understanding what we are saying. There are several AI techniques and machine learning algorithms built behind the chatbot that are matching ideas one to the other, so they can produce answers that seem real and human generated to us, but they are actually not understanding what we are saying to them. some of these artificial intelligence techniques that they are using is natural language processing. This is a technique that allows a computer to understand the words, phrases, the sequence of phrases and words next to each other, and then produce some kind of matching with certain responses. So they seem attractive, interesting, or coherent to humans, but they are not actually, chatbots are not actually understanding what we are saying. There's this idea that at some point they may be understanding what we say. However, at this point, it is a very debatable idea, and they are actually not understanding what we are saying. There are a couple of chatbots that are used right now. The first one being the decision tree chatbot. It is a chatbot that has questions that are answers that are already programmed to questions that you as a teacher are going to send to students. In this case, for example, for a very general topic as the weather, when you ask a chatbot in this category a question, it is going to tell you that it is going to rain, and actually it is quite a very advanced answer in some way. And this is how they work. You assemble the questions one to the other and generate the experience that users and students are going to undergo. As soon as you start testing, the experience is going to look as if there is a robot behind it when you activate it. So in this case, Build Education is the name of this chatbot, is going to provide you with an opportunity to press buttons, to answer questions, and the programming is built in this decision tree that can get as big as you want, and that can provide you opportunities to generate questions, gamify the responses and the experiences, so that you can provide an interesting opportunity for your students to learn. And there are many opportunities and providers that can help you use a decision tree chatbot. The other kind of chatbot is called an AI or virtual agent. This uses many other technological tools such as deep learning and machine learning, so that they can learn and improve over time. They combine not only AI, but sometimes even robotics to allow different structures to move and to provide you with additional information and to anticipate what you are going to ask. Alexa, in case you already are using Alexa, Alexa is an example of that one. It generates additional information, and in this case, they provide you with suggestions on how to cope with certain circumstances or conditions. In this case, when you ask them, even if you do not ask it as like a plain English, and you even use some slang, what's tomorrow's weather looking like, the agent is going to understand what your intent is for this question, and they are going to provide you with additional information that may be useful for you. This is some of the advantages, but this requires a lot of effort that we are also going to talk about later. Some challenges ahead that I would like to talk about are one in specific. There was some interesting findings in relation to the challenges that are occurring inside of our classroom. Classroom management generates a lot of challenges for teachers, and also teacher training is generating lots of challenges in this regard. This study from Stanford University revealed that in general, in classrooms that were studied with around 1,000 and more teachers in an online course, the teacher time was 80 or 90%. The way that teachers also were referring to students was lacking growth mindset and the possibility of teachers praising the effort of students. There were lots of punitive management practices, especially with African American students, and African American and Latinx students were feeling that they were not belonging inside of the classroom in comparison with white students from the same classroom. In other realm of teacher training, for example, you may be familiar with this. There are still challenges in relation to how teachers are trained. It requires lots of regularity, lots of repetition. It is not always scalable. Sometimes districts and also the secretaries of education and ministries of education lack the resources to train teachers properly. And well, classrooms are different, teachers are different, and students are different. So there's a requirement for personalization. And also these kinds of challenges are not accompanied by evidence-based interventions. I would like to know if this is something that you feel familiar with, maybe hearing the opinion of a couple of participants in this space in relation to challenges that may be familiar to this one. You can either write it on the chat or open your mic to provide us with your experiences in this relay. There were interesting findings in relation to what automated responses by a chatbot could help this online course that we are talking about. The online course, as I mentioned, was studying the performance of a little bit more than 1,000 teachers. And when they implemented automated responses for both students and teachers, some very interesting findings came to occur. There were lots of benefits for teachers. Teachers ended up taking ideas from students 16% more. Also, teachers were being asked 14% more questions by their students, and students were giving a 2% higher course ratings because of these automated responses by a chatbot. On the other hand, for students, they were talking a little bit more, 6%. They were more likely to submit their assignments, their homeworks. They were giving higher course ratings, and in general, they were more optimistic about their academic future. In this regard, two very interesting challenges, classroom management and also teacher training, were explored by this study with interesting findings after a chatbot was implemented inside of this online course. There's another challenge that I wanted to talk to you about when we were speaking with Eric about the opportunities of chatbot technology in Mexico. I came with this fact that teachers in Mexico are at this time belonging to a population that is aging very fast, and they are like a large proportion of the teacher workforce in Mexico is already above 50 years old. But this is not something strange as well. Many OECD countries have the same challenge. Their teacher workforce are aging, especially the ones that have lots of experience. They are in the 50 to 59 years old proportion of the population. And also this applies for countries like the United States, Israel, Germany, Canada, and Brazil. I wonder if this challenge is something that gives you a sensation of opportunity in relation to the use of chatbots, or these generate a sense of fear in terms of the incorporation of chatbots inside of the classroom. Are there any other solutions that you see possible to cope with this challenge of the aging teacher population? Are chatbots the only solution, or are there other solutions that you see possible? Yeah, Eric is telling us that providing answers simultaneously to 20 students is a challenge. Personalizing this kind of feedback is very hard, and there are already opportunities to use chatbots. So there are some evidences in regards to this. Thank you, Eric. I am going to open a space so that maybe if we do not open our mics or contribute to chat, maybe there's an opportunity to populate our tool again. The tool right now is what are some actual potential areas of opportunities for chatbots in the classroom? Are there opportunities that you see besides the one that we were looking at? Let's see if in this exercise people start contributing, and then some of the idea generated in the space get some votes. Automatic tutoring, says Eric. This is another solution. I am going to upvote the quizzes one. I cannot upvote them. Instructions is another one. In each high school says it might be difficult to design the flowchart, but easier and innovative in the classroom. We have to find ways to do that. It is still a challenge. Instructions and quizzes are some of the possibilities, but there are many others. A couple of seconds more. Repeating information. Yes, transmitting information, maybe sending them to different students. Also, saving time is another one. Feel free to vote for the idea that you feel is more aligned with what you currently think. And remind people about concepts with some ideas. Chatbots can also analyze and assess student learning, providing valuable data insights for educational institutions. That's another very interesting possibility. If the schools can understand what their students are learning, how they are learning, it is another interesting possibility. Thank you. Thank you for all of your contributions. Let's see what awaits us in this presentation. I am very optimistic and passionate about the possibilities and the potential areas of opportunity in this regard. For example, you might have heard of many new names of large language models recently released by companies like Meta, Google, OpenAI. They are the ones that are leading in this development of large language models, using lots of data from the internet. And although this may be a very very fast and sometimes frightening process, they provide lots of interesting opportunities for teachers in their classrooms. One of these is the multimodality concept. Multimodal refers to with many kinds of modes on how chatbots can contribute to the teaching and learning process. One of these is evaluation. Multimodal means that chatbots are not only going to process text. Remember that we were saying that text is some of the elements that chatbots can analyze. But now they are also going to be able to analyze images and videos. One of the large language models that was released during this last year is Meta's Llama 2 model, but also Gemini from Google. And they are able to analyze images, and they are able to provide feedback when students submit questions and materials through images. They can provide feedback, and this is something very interesting, and this is something that I wonder. If they are able to generate video to students that are asking some questions, would they be able to teach some things that are not able to, that cannot be taught through text? For example, if soft skills such as collaboration are not really easy to learn through text or by reading about collaboration, can a video teach students about collaboration? Maybe showing two people collaborating or modeling this behavior and this disposition? This is something that amazes me, and it makes me ask lots of questions. There's another thing that was interesting for me, that is fostering the culture of effort and curiosity. Chatbots are always available 24/7. That's right. They can answer questions to our students even at night, even in emergency contexts. They are always available. And this is a very interesting opportunity for students to be motivated and to stay motivated with constant and intensive motivation, because let's be clear, teachers as well as parents, they are not always patient, and they are not 24/7 patient. And this is a strategy that could help us keep our students motivated and to enhance their sense of curiosity in relation to the topics that we want to teach them. And also, there's a new role for students, because they are not only receptors of the new information. With chatbots providing them with so much information, the role of students is also going to change. And this is an opportunity. Not only, this is not necessarily a threat, but this is an opportunity for students to become evaluators of content, editors of content. If they are going to provide an essay to their teacher, why don't they actually review the information that an AI-generated essay is providing? So this generates a lot of benefits and potential new avenues for the development of critical thinking and analytical thinking for our students. I would like to know if you identify, if you give a thumbs up to these potential areas of opportunity, or if you are not so convinced and more skeptical about these possibilities. I'm going to show you another image. Maybe let's hear from you in the chat. Are you do you agree with those areas of opportunity? Because here there's another example. This is an example that was integrated into the Stanford paper I showed you some minutes ago. There's a student that is worried about entering university as a first person in his family. He is a third-generation student, and the answer that he or she received from a teacher was the one that is colored in red. And this is something that, because of the volume of students, is something that may be possible, and not the teacher's fault, but how the system is currently working. However, with good fine-tuning and with good programming behind chatbots, the feedback that students are going to receive is potentially better and more comprehensive, even in some way more empathetic than the feedback that they receive from teachers. As I advance into the talk, feel free to enter your comments, and I am very happy to read them and to create a conversation with you about them. There are some shortcomings, and this is something that also excites me, because there are lots of room for improvement, And this also shows that there's a space for everyone in AI, even the leaders of artificial intelligence are facing shortcomings, and this translates into opportunities for people to get prepared and to become part of this. And there's a very interesting opportunity that I'm going to share with you at the end of this talk. So stay tuned on how you can become part of the global development of AI. One of the most advanced models of AI right now is GPT-4. It is one of the cutting edge AI LLM technologies right now. Its creator is OpenAI, and a report released in 2023 reveals several shortcomings in relation to this very advanced model. Some of the shortcomings relate to, firstly, the accuracy and the precise and the precision of the answers that this model provides. It also has a data cutoff in September 2021. It doesn't necessarily learn with the data that is incorporated into the model right now, but it has a vast knowledge before 2021. And sometimes they may be too welcoming to false ideas and false statements of users, demonstrating that the precision and the accuracy of the model is still under development. Another of the shortcomings is that safety is a challenge, and not only for OpenAI, one of the leaders, but also for many others. Because there are humans in the process of giving feedback to these models, there may be some challenges in relation to how precise the training of the model is. If there is one opportunity in which humans, for example, are not able to label or to tag potentially dangerous content with so much data being processed, the models may be prone to generate unsafe responses as well. So another shortcoming in relation to this, my dogs just arrived from their daily walk, so that is why you are listening to them. They are Mati and Ali, and they love walking in a park that we have here next to our home. And they are very safe with our walks. Not as these LLMs that are not so safe, as, for example, when they receive potentially harmful information, they may be not so cautious, or when they receive very safe information, they may be too cautious. So the models are still under development, and they are not also even able to recognize phrases in English that relate to jokes or that are popular sayings. For example, can you teach an old dog new tricks? And the choice and the answer of the model is yes, you can teach an old dog new tricks, when it refers not precisely to the training of dogs, but to the idea that maybe it is difficult to teach someone a new thing when they don't want to learn. Or also, they may not be able to recognize that Elvis Presley didn't have a father that was an actor. So precision, accuracy, and safety are some of the shortcomings that the most advanced LLM in the world is currently facing as well. What is the role of teachers in this space? There are lots of things that we can do as teachers and educators. I am very curious to listen or to read your ideas. Thank you, Manuel, for your idea some minutes before. Let's hear from you as well. What are the role of teachers? I can think of some some ideas in relation to that. The role of teachers and the ideas that I came up with are four. teachers can get involved in the research process of these tools. They can be part of the development of these tools. And there's one opportunity that is open to professionals and to experts around the world, which is the OpenAI Red Teaming Network, which is a network of experts in certain domains that apply to be considered to participate in the research process of these LLMs. They will participate in flagging potentially harmful or dangerous content, and also make a very big contribution to this. Also, because these LLMs rely in very big amounts of data, teachers have the opportunity to ensure that this data is representative. Remember that in several fields, data is focused on some population and not on the population of people around the world. African American, Latin Americans, Asians, the data is mainly representative from the global north and mainly in English, disproportionately in English. So there's an opportunity for us to work with our governments, maybe channel some funding to the generation of data that can enrich the LLMs that we are working with. Teachers have the opportunity also to provide oversight on how these tools are used with the data of our students. They can be guardians of the security and the privacy of our students. And finally, they can generate a culture of transparency in their schools. Because if students are using ChatGPT, that is not a problem. The problem would be if students are not in a culture that praises transparency in relation to the use of ChatGPT, because they can develop a new role, as I was mentioning, and using these new technologies may not be the problem at all. And there are some interesting principles that teachers can also embrace. And all of us can learn this, and we are probably already using many of them. For example, in terms of privacy, we have to always have the consent of our students when we are going to use their data and process their data through chatbots. We will have to prioritize and use the data that is only necessary and relevant for the function of the chatbot. We should anonymize the data that we are going to use with our students, so that we can prevent bias and potentially harming students unintentionally because of our own biases. And finally, we have to grant them the right to access, delete, change, eliminate or the data that they have given us. In terms of data security, and this can be related to the role of teachers, but also to the role of schools. Schools are now using technology intensively. So the incorporation of a chatbot should be connected to secure protocols and to secure infrastructures so that there is no loss of information. The transmission of data between chatbots and the systems of the school and vice versa should incorporate encryption so that data is not vulnerable to other external agents. Information has to be backed so that we can keep it safe, and we should follow international standards. And finally, teachers are also generating information that should be replicable, as well as programmers generate code that has to be replicable and understandable to someone external that comes and reads these texts, especially if they are leaving the school. This information should be replicable. We should generate public repositories if we want people outside of our school to participate with us, potentially, for example, in competitions for our students, if we are building hackathons and allowing them to interact with other schools. And finally, we also have the opportunity to do new research, to generate new projects and new ideas, because as I was telling you, AI is for everyone, and there is lots of space for us to participate in these challenges. Thank you. Let's connect, and happy to hear your thoughts.
Thank you very much, David, for this wonderful presentation about chat chatbots. I was thinking, and I do have a comment and a question to maybe open the conversation with the professors. But before I said that, because that's going to open the conversation with everyone, I would like to ask to the participants if there's any question before we pass to the dialogue part of the conversation. Okay, I see no one raising hands, so I'm gonna just there's 2 hands. Okay. Claudia and Eric. Shall we start with you, Claudia, and then Eric?
Well, hello, Eric and David. Nice to meet you. I have a question. How could I start using, well, if I am, I am actually not teaching right now, but for example, if I have a student, how could I start doing this with using this bot with my student, this chatbot with my student?
There are several ways in which you can start, and thank you for your very important question. One of it is using the free versions of chatbot technologies. OpenAI offers a free version of ChatGPT. You have to connect as if you connect to Facebook or to other tools. And let's do an experiment. We are going to enter to OpenAI. And then OpenAI is the company that owns this tool called ChatGPT, one of the most well-known tools for using chatbots. And here I am already connected to OpenAI's chatbot. So what I am going to do is actually enter in an incognito mode. So when we are in OpenAI's platform, there's a button here in the right up corner that says try ChatGPT, and then here we can log in and get started. Let's see if, because I am using an incognito. Wait, let me see. This one is here. They are going to ask you to enter an email, but I guess that here you are going to see this space for entering different kinds of prompts. And then you can start, for example, what are the steps to give feedback to a student that needs to repeat their homework. So ChatGPT is currently using one of the models that they have for this text generation, and it is generating text in real time. And they provide you with 10 ideas. You can give a more detailed answer to this. For example, you can say, I am middle school teacher in Dallas. My students come from vulnerable communities. And by the way, this tool offers the same tool for many languages, including Spanish, French, German, and many others. From vulnerable communities, one of my students missed deadline. Then this is the context that I am going to give the chatbot. You first give some context. Then you ask this chatbot to simulate that they are someone. This is going to help the chatbot understand what you are wanting to tell them. Simulate, you are an expert middle school teacher, experienced in academic counseling. And you don't need to provide a question, but also you can provide an instruction. Elaborate a list of 10 recommendations to give feedback to a student that needs to repeat their homework. And then you can even provide an example. For example, one. Praise the effort. Two, consider their context. So we can see the difference between the first question that we gave and then the second prompt that we are developing that is much more detailed and advanced. We will see what ChatGPT generates. Let's see if there is a difference between what you are asking. This may be a little bit more personalized to your context because you communicated that your student was from middle school. Encourage revision. Number 7 is encourage revision. They are different. We should look at them very, very deeply. But for example, praise the effort is the first one, and the first one here was start with positive reinforcement. They are similar, but they may be one of the tools. There are many others, Claudia. ChatGPT is one of them. You can use Perplexity. It's another one. And this is very fast. Actually, it is not the one that I prefer because the answers are not as diverse as ChatGPT, but it is also a very good one. And let me think if there is another one. Gemini is another one. Gemini is from Google, and Gemini is currently stopping to generate images because they were generating images that are not so inclusive. They were experiencing problems with the image generation. So here we can also, let's see if we can use the same one and see what Gemini answers. Let's see. Focus on understanding. The responses are interesting. They are categorized in different sections. For example, focus on understanding and connection, focus on solution and support, focus on growth and learning, remember. And then Gemini provides you with the opportunity to see if there is accuracy in the responses by Googling these responses. So you have some opportunities, Claudia. ChatGPT, by going to OpenAI, you have Perplexity, and you have Gemini. You may need to use your email account to do this, but I encourage you to use them and congratulate you on the journey you are about to start.
Thank you, David. Just one more. Can I make one more little question?
Yeah, of course.
For example, and if I want to start like using WhatsApp with my students, for example, how can I start doing like those questions and activities that you were doing with, or for example, using WhatsApp, as you were saying, for the activities?
There are some opportunities to use WhatsApp in the classroom. One of those is precisely using Builda. Builda is one of the providers of WhatsApp education through this. It is not the only one. You can either start by using these kind of tools in your classroom, or start learning a bit and then you start using your own softwares to do this. I can happily share more information about Builda with you all, so that you are able to test for free our chatbots to teach your students about teenage pregnancy prevention, climate change, cybersecurity, and then your feedback is going to be very, very valuable. So I am happy to share this with you after the session through Eric and the team of Kinich School.
Thank you so much, David, for your time. And now I think Eric wanted to ask a question too. Thank you so much. Thanks.
There's one question, Eric.
No,
Eric,
if we have some time, that way will it possible that you can share what Builda does? I understand this kind of is answer train, like you have to put like different answers that can happen to, or can provide to the different students, in the way that when people is asking certain things, the tree is gonna go in different directions trying to answer all the different things. But could you explain just for people that is not familiar with this kind of trees, how does it work, exactly what the Builda is doing? Really fantastic. Thank you.
Very, very, very glad to do that. I am going to place the QR code here so that people can scan the QR code. And then when you scan this QR code, you will be prompted to build a WhatsApp account. Then you will have this code, this activation code already inserted into the text window. And then next, to activate the chatbot, you have to activate the chatbot with a keyword. For example, anticonceptivo, if you would like to learn about teenage pregnancy prevention. And then Cambio, if you would like to learn about adaptation to climate change for agriculture. These are two of the programs that are free right now, and we are able to share them with you. Anticonceptivo is the word in Spanish, and Cambio is the second word in Spanish. So I am going to show you how we built these tools. What we do, so I am going to keep the. So what we do is we built the responses and the chain of responses in one of these environments. Question by question, so that students can undergo the experience of watching videos in WhatsApp, and the videos stay in your cell phone. They are not located in some external window. They are inside of your cell phone, and they stay there. This is useful for population that lacks connection to internet and sometimes only have WhatsApp, because for example, for people in migration circumstances, they do not have lots of data to enter to YouTube to watch a video, but they can have WhatsApp and they can download a video so that they are able to watch it. So when we have connected all of these materials, we can start asking questions, and by incorporating resources that WhatsApp has, we can gamify the questions. For example, generating these progress bars, or providing feedback in relation to the answers that they are giving, and then offering them the opportunity to recap at the end, a conclusion, and then giving them some additional resources so that they can learn more. So feel free. I am going to be very, very happy to talk to you, also to connect with you on LinkedIn, and also listen to your feedback on the work that we are doing in Builda through WhatsApp.
Thank you, David. Ira, you have a question for David?
There was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hello, David Vasquez. My
Hello,
name
hello.
is Iracema Modesto, and
Yeah.
I would like to thank you for the insightful presentation on AI tools for personalized students' learning. I have found that information about chatbot technology particularly fascinating. And my question for you is, what are some of the biggest challenges you have faced when implementing AI chatbot technology in education, and how have you overcome them? Thank you again for sharing your expertise with us.
Thank you so much, Ira, for your question. One of the main challenges that at least we face in Latin America is the connectivity challenge, because even if we have the most advanced tool and the tool that is very effective to help children learn, if schools do not have connectivity, students cannot connect to the products and the infrastructures that make this possible. So the connectivity is the first one. Then AI is still very imprecise. So the answers that we are receiving from AI are not always useful. That's why in our work right now with Builda, we are not using the second type of chatbot until we have fine-tuned correctly the model, but we are using the first one, the one that you see that is in a decision tree, the connections of responses that are already programmed. But I see another challenge besides the one that is connectivity. The second is the still imprecision and the development that AI needs. And the third one is the talent, because learning AI takes a lot of time and effort, and it is still very limited to very few people that know about these kinds of models. What I have decided to do is, for example, I am personally learning about data science, and I am about to get certified in data science. And then generating spaces with people to talk about this, because I was sometimes embarrassed with people that knew more than me about these kinds of technologies. But as soon as you start talking with others, you see that everyone is learning, and everyone is doing effort to learn more and to understand more. And there are free resources on the internet that can help us learn through YouTube. Also, Google is offering free courses to learn cloud computing in Coursera. Those courses are free until the end of next month, I think. And there are many, many possibilities for us to start learning in the comfort of our homes, and also to generate conversations with others, even if it is not technical and it is only about the experience of chatting with ChatGPT and then trying new questions, trying new prompts, asking ChatGPT to answer questions that have to do with the topics that are the most interesting to you: health, nutrition. That is going to help you learn a lot about these technologies and overcome this challenge that I was mentioning to you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to you, Ira. How do you pronounce your name, by the way?
Oh, my name is Iracema, but I prefer Ira.
Ira. Okay, perfect. Thank you. There was a comment in the chat that said, Manuel was commenting, I find very interesting that you mentioned teachers can help training AI. The second thing I find amazing are that there are efforts to avoid bias in the use of AI. We are very happy to read you, Manuel. Would you like to expand a little bit more what you were telling us?
Sure, David. Thank you for this masterclass. Yeah, I would like to know if you know more about projects that involve avoiding bias in the use of AI, because yeah, we have heard about examples of how AI or chatbots can turn racist at some point with some examples of training.
I can provide you with information about authors or people that are talking about this that may be useful. For example, and it is information in English that also is in several other languages. How is the name of this? Francis Hogan. Francis Hogan is the whistleblower that was telling the world about the risks of Facebook. And she recently published a book called The Power of One, in which she tells her journey in the big technology in the US. She may be someone that is producing or that has produced in the past interesting information. You can go to her website, which is franceshogan.com, and maybe she has some insights in relation to this. Or you can find information about Francis Hogan through the news, and then read more about the dangers that technology poses on society. This is something that every person that is willing to understand AI and data should be conscious about the dangers and challenges of technology. And this is a very good place to start. Frances Hogan. Another one is Latanya Sweeney. Latanya Sweeney is a professor at Harvard that talks about, specifically, she talks about representative in data, algorithmic bias, how algorithms decide who goes to jail, who gets a job. And she has there are a couple of episodes, podcast episodes in Spotify that you can listen to. They are very, very interesting. Sponsored projects. She is a professor at Harvard and has several projects. One of these is this public technology lab. Let's see if this helps us arrive. Yeah, public interest tech lab. And they publish information that is interesting also in relation to algorithmic bias. This is from Harvard University. And you can here find some of the projects that are available to read and to learn about them. The thing is that, Manuel, we can start projects in our own communities discussing these topics with people and then place them on the internet, on Facebook, place them on YouTube, and start generating discussions around this. Sometimes we feel that when we are going to post something in social media, it is not going to generate value to others. But actually, it generates lots of value, even if it's any idea. So if you discuss with your brother, with your friends, anyone about this, make sure that you put some words and ideas out there and start engaging with people. Also through WhatsApp. Maybe you can generate a WhatsApp group called Learning AI with your family, and then start exchanging news, etc. That is something that I also recommend, and is it is not so difficult to start, but you can try with that one too.
Perfect. I saw that Clara in the public also had a question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Excellent. Hello, David. Thank you very much for taking the time, doing this masterclass. Ale, thank you very much for, letting us, study and be with people that are working on things that are very important for the people that work in education. So I did not have a question. I had a comment. So I started using ChatGPT with my students. I'm a middle school teacher, and I teach English. Okay. So for me, it was a little difficult to start using ChatGPT in order for them to learn the language or to acquire a language. But then I started, I asked them to ask ChatGPT why their sentences were wrong, right? And Chat gave a very well explanation, and they understood what was happening in their sentences. And then, they started improving. It was not like a major improvement, but it was an improvement, right? And after that, after I used it for this, like the school purposes, I asked them to play with ChatGPT, and they were asking questions, silly questions probably, but they were asking questions. And after a while, I noticed that they started making more structured questions in order to get the answer that they were looking for. So just a recommendation is to let them play with ChatGPT. It's great that they learn, not because we force them to, but because they want to, right? And I think like having fun, it's the best way to learn something. So that's it. That's my comment. Thank you very much.
Clara, thank you for your comment, and it is amazing that they are already exploring and playing with ChatGPT. Can you tell us, if I may ask you this, can you tell us about some of the questions or some of the ideas that they were writing on ChatGPT, something that surprised you or you liked?
Well, one of the things that I was surprised by is that one of the students asked, when am I going to die? Right? And ChatGPT responds something like, I do not have enough data, or, it's not, I don't remember exactly what ChatGPT answered, but then he asked, if I smoke, am I gonna die sooner? He started building up questions like, if I drink, am I gonna die sooner? If I drive, if I am a pilot, because we were talking about professions, right? If I am a train driver, am I going to die sooner? So they were asking ChatGPT for probabilities on their guesses of if they were going to die or not. It's a silly question. They were laughing about it, right? But I think it's something that, oh, I'm sorry for the sound. That it's something that helped the students to start building up better questions in order to get the answer they are looking for.
Yeah, that is amazing, because then they start getting deep and deeper and deep into their own questions and understand how to prompt. This is a very interesting example, an exercise of prompt engineering. They are actually learning how to prompt ChatGPT. Final question, Clara. What were you using in the classroom when this was happening? Were they using their phones? Were they using computers? They were sharing equipment?
So in my school, I am in a public school, and we do not have computers, but I asked the students to bring their phone. So we were using it in their phone. I brought my computer, my tablet, my phone, my mom's phone, and in order for them to get the opportunity to use it, I had to have them in teams because we did not have enough devices for everyone. But they were working in different devices. Some of them brought an iPad, other ones brought a computer, some of them got the cell phones and different devices.
That's amazing. Yes. As long as they can play with technology safely, it is great if we can build a lab inside of our classrooms. Thank you so much, Clara, for the great effort.
No, thank you.
Eric, were you going to ask a question too?
No, I was when I was listening to you, the different things with these kind of chatbots, and you mentioned this part, like there are different terms, and I was looking into the different terms that they use, like which was very funny. They have the hallucination kind of bot that you have to be very careful. That's only it can create data that doesn't exist. And now that Clara was mentioning this question about that, when are you going to die? It can provide an answer without really looking into different information or really being is the chatbot is being trained. In that way, it is going to have a lot of different mistakes. In that way, the bias is something interesting too, like 30%, 36% of the data that is exposing us comes from the US. The US is 4% of the total population in the world. In that way, if you ask for certain things, I remember that one person was asking like, well, how a banker will look like and will describe a man, how a nurse will look like and will describe a woman. In that way, just to figure out like this kind of bias is going to happen on ChatGPT, on the artificial intelligence yet is something that we have to figure out. And also the fake information, like I like a few months ago here in the US, it was one article about one lawyer that submitted something to the courts, and it was fake. It was he was sustaining his what he was doing through something that he created by ChatGPT, and basically he created a, a law or something that it was not true. In that way, the guy didn't check it, and suddenly was presenting information that was not real. In that way, ChatGPT is very creative. Just we have to be very careful just to double check the information. And this part, when we're trying to provide feedback to the students, this part of iteration and this part of checking, and I think that is going to be very important in the way that it's not just, okay, I put my chatbot, I disappear and I don't see any information from my students. That way I'm done with the reviewing task or homework. No, it's technology can help you, but also it can destroy you if you're not behind it. In that way, your reputation is when someone is answering from your phone or someone is answering and using just ChatGPT or using any chatbot, is not the bot that people is going to reflect into you. It's going to be you. In that way, just to be careful on that. In that way, a person is behind the technology. In that way, that person is responsible for using it.
Yeah.
That's the point that I wanted to mention.
Yeah, and I agree with what you say completely. For every technology piece that we create, there are humans behind it. So every result is also the responsibility of humans that are working there. It is the reflect of their work. So we have to be very careful on that.
Thank you, David, for today. Adelante, go ahead, Ale.
Thank you very much, David, for this wonderful presentation. All the prompts to ignite discussion were already covered, so I'm just gonna end the session there. Thank you very much to all the people in this session. Please keep inviting your fellows and your colleagues and other teachers you know to join these sessions. We still have 2 to go, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, David, for the presentation.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Osiris, voy a dejar de grabar.
Vale, sí, y